Dortmund are not a Bundesliga challenger. So we need to set the record straight, ladies and gentlemen, because this discussion has happened for far too long, and we need to set it straight. We need to, right now, and I'm doing that right here. So the whole notion of Dortmund, can they win the Bundesliga this season? Oh, they're Klassiker. The amount of times I've heard they're Klassiker, it's like, bro, call it what it is, alright? It's Dortmund versus Bayern. Stop with that naming gimmick. Quite frankly, here's what it is. It is the best team in Germany and currently the best team in Europe versus a good team in Germany and a good team in Europe. Probably the two most entertaining and the two most attractive in terms of football teams in Germany, but that is about it. Dortmund are not a Bundesliga challenger. They're not aiming for the title. That's not it. They're aiming for the cup. Maybe round of 16, quarterfinals in the Champions League. That's what they're hoping for. They're not winning the Bundesliga. And the reason for that is very simple. This is not 2012. This is not 2012. This is not the Bundesliga era pre-2012. Or pre-2013, I should say. Where you could win the Bundesliga with 70 points. Like, yo, I've got 70 points. I'm in first. Woohoo! It's not that era anymore. Since the Bayern transformation, if you want to call it that, since the Bayern dominance, the era of absolute dominance, 70 points is not enough. 70 points is not enough. You need 80 points. You need 80 points, right? You can have 3 losses a season, and that is about it. 3 losses a season and maybe 2 draws a season, and that is about it. Dortmund are not that consistent. Dortmund will drop points against Leverkusen. Dortmund will drop points against Gladbach. Dortmund will drop points against Augsburg, as they have. They will drop points along the way, and that is okay, because in any other year, those drop points wouldn't have mattered. Post 2012, those drop points mean you're already out of the title race. So let's set that record straight. Bayern are consistent. They are consistent. The amount of times Bayern lose, I can basically tell you this season, the teams that Bayern are going to lose against. It's usually Gladbach, because you always lose against Gladbach. Doesn't matter if we have the best football in the world, we still lose against Gladbach. And usually there is one Leverkusen loss involved as well. And that's about it. One Gladbach loss or 2 Gladbach losses, 1 Leverkusen loss, and perhaps the odd game here or there. In this case, Hoffenheim. That's really it. Then the rest are pretty much going to be draws or victories, right? Dortmund. They've got a terrible record against Schalke, despite how bad Schalke are. Borussia Mönchengladbach can beat them on any given day. Leverkusen can beat them on any given day. Leipzig can beat them on any given day. You go down the table and there are plenty more teams that can beat them on any given day. Dortmund are not consistent. They're not the only team that are not consistent, but they're not consistent. And we're talking about Dortmund right here because everyone likes to talk about them. Oh, they're in for the title race. Now, for me, it's always been very, very clear who our actual rivals are, and that's Leipzig. Leipzig are very, very consistent. I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but I believe last season they've only had 3 losses, and the rest of them were draws and victories. Which shows you that they are a very good team. Now, so far this season, they've already started very good, besides the Champions League game, but they've started very, very good. Gladbach have started very, very good, but Gladbach will drop off sooner or later. I know they haven't really lost a major player in the summer, but they're not really a team that is there yet. They're a team that is always steadily progressing upwards and upwards, but they're not quite there yet. Leipzig, however, despite the fact that they are missing a key striker, someone that will bang them goals in for them, they are still a very organized team. They are still a very strong team. The difference between Leipzig and Dortmund is that Dortmund will go to the Augsburgs and lose. Because Dortmund relies too much, hear me out, before I know what you're going to say, but they rely too much on their youth. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, don't Leipzig have a very, very young team too? Yes, they do. The difference here, however, is that Leipzig have the squad depth and Leipzig have the tactical manager. They have the infrastructure, and they have, quite frankly, they have the hate against them. Dortmund are seen as like the club that, oh yeah, Dortmund, woohoo, they're good guys of the, unless you're like a Schalke fan. They're like, oh yeah, they're good guys of the Bundesliga. Oh, look at them. All the young players, oh, they're so hip, they're so modern. They're the darlings, right? Maybe not so much in the Bundesliga itself, but maybe not so much in Germany itself, but outside of Germany, they're seen as the darlings. They're the tiny midget. They're David, who are going up against the giant, that Bayern, the evil. Oh no, that is Bayern Munich, the Goliath. It's like, no. You giving them that underdog status, right? It works brilliantly when you're going up against a bigger club, because then they can make the upset and everyone will praise, these youngsters, Haaland, best player of Sancho, Ray, oh my goodness, what a player. It's like, all right, we get it, but once they are a better team, that is when they struggle, because then you can't just perform and be praised. Oh, if you get beaten, then it's whatever. You have to perform. Against the minnows, you have to perform. And that's the difference. You put that on the young players that are not used to being relied upon to perform. And then it's like, okay, now we're in a different territory. With Leipzig, you don't have that. Because, first of all, the infrastructure is different. Because everybody hates Leipzig. Everybody hates Leipzig. Red Bull, everyone hates them. And because everyone hates them, they naturally have that motivation, that drive, and the whole, and quite frankly, they have the arrogance to perform. And that's kind of what you need. You need that arrogance, you know? People always say, oh, Bayern are so arrogant. Oh, so arrogant here, arrogant there. And yes, they are. But you know why they're arrogant? Because they want to win every single game. They want to get the 3 points every single game. They're not happy with one good performance. Oh yeah, great performance. Let's do the same next one. And then they lose 5-0. That's not the case. Bayern, they want to win every single game, but they always have that arrogance to be like, yeah, you know what? We know we're better than you. We know we're better than you. So we're going to show it. Right now, we're going to show it right now. And that's exactly what they're all about. It's the arrogance of the champions, the arrogance of the winners, to go to every single game and be like, we're better than you. We're going to beat you. That's all. That's it. We don't care who you have. We don't care who your players are. We're going to play our style. We're going to impose our style. We're going to come here with our style. And quite frankly, you're going to be crumbled. You're going to be crumbled under all that weight that our style will put on you. It will crush you. It will dismantle you. And quite frankly, we will beat you into submission. And that's basically all it is about. We have the arrogance, we have the willpower, we have, quite frankly, we have the strength to go to any team in the world and be like, we're smashing you. That's it. We're coming here to score goals and then go home and then party. That's what we're here to do. And Dortmund, they don't have that because they're always the underdog. Oh no, let's hope for a good performance. Yeah, if we can play our style, if we can get our young players and our talented players like Sancho's and our Haalands into the game, then we should be able with a good shout of winning this match. Whereas Bayern, they go into there like, nah, we are winning. Dortmund, they go into it like, If the stars align and 2 + 2 = 4 and 4 + 4 = 8 and 8 + 8 = 16, we should be able to win. And that's kind of the arrogance that Dortmund doesn't have. And that's the reason why they're not winning. It's very simple. It's just as simple as that, right? You could tell right away at the beginning of the season when, I can't remember who it was, I think it might be Zorc, someone else, I could be completely wrong here. It's been a few months since then, but when they essentially said, our goal for the season is not to win the Bundesliga, our goal for the season is to hopefully play a good season and hopefully end up with a cup at the end of the season. Like, bro, that's the reason why you never a Bundesliga challenger. That's why I don't even care about Dortmund anymore. Like you probably noticed it. Like a few years ago, when I first started this channel, I was always talking about Dortmund. I was always saying this Dortmund team, they're a challenger. But have you noticed something? I've not mentioned that at all lately. The last 2-3 years, I've not mentioned that at all because I don't see Dortmund as a threat. We go there, we smash them, we go back home and celebrate. That's really how it is. Because that team has got no spine. It's got no backbone. It just can't. The second there's any sort of pressure on them, good example, against Augsburg, right? I think they were first in the Bundesliga table. And that was the game that we lost against, that was the day that we lost against Hoffenheim, I believe. And everyone was saying, man, If Dortmund can win against Augsburg, we have a title race on our hands. What do? They lost that game. Badly. And it's like, alright. The second any amount of pressure is on you, you crumble. That says it all. You can't handle the pressure. You can't handle the heat. And that's quite frankly the difference between you and Leipzig. Leipzig, they're new. They're the new kid on the block, right? Everyone hates them. They already have that pressure on them. So if you play for Leipzig, you already have pressure on you. The whole media wants to see you fail. Everyone in Germany that loves football wants to see you fail. Besides the people in Leipzig itself or people that support the Red Bull project, through Salzburg or whatnot, maybe those are like the only exception. Like, man, you know what? I really want to see them do well. Everyone else, they hate you. So you're already playing with that expectation of, you know what? We have to smash each and every opponent because we don't want to give the critics any opportunity to slander us. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to prove our worth in every single game, no matter what. And that's why they're a much bigger threat. That's why Dortmund, in my eyes, are absolutely useless. You can't count on them to have a title race. So for all of you people that always write your newsletters, your newspapers, your headlines, your websites, so on and so forth, just know Dortmund are never gonna challenge for the title. At least in the foreseeable future. In the next 10 years, I don't see them win any. Now, you could make the argument that Bayern should not be losing a single title in the next 10 years because of how our squad is at the moment, how they're all in the right age, and how good our recruitment is. Things can change in football. But I'll tell you this right now. I predict that Leipzig will win a Bundesliga title before Dortmund. That's how I'm going to leave it with. That is, in my mind, a certainty. Because Dortmund are spineless. And I think they need to get away from their shadow that is looming over them. That is the shadow of Klopp. They had the achievements with Klopp. And since then, they've always been like, yeah, man, absolutely useless. But at least we had Klopp that one time when we won. Woohoo! Yay! They need to move forward. And that's exactly the issue with them. That's exactly the issue with them. That they're not moving forward. They're still held back by the ghosts. By the shadows that were once at that club. And it's difficult to get past that. But that's exactly what they need to be able to do to become title challengers again. And that's why I think Leipzig are a much more dangerous side than them. Not just in terms of the personnel that they have, not just in terms of the ambition of the club that they have, but also in terms of the drive, the hunger, and especially the success. That's how I'm going to leave it.